Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Right, let's take a look at every Premier League club and find their weirdest ever result they've ever picked up on the last day of the season. You know, the results that just didn't make sense. Arsenal 2-1 loss versus Burnley in 2005. What a difference a year makes. I'm not sure if any of you will remember this game. Trust me lads, it was weird. 1 year earlier, Arsenal were the undisputed kings of England, invincible champions without having lost a single game all year. They were so confident and cocksure, they probably didn't think they'd lose another game that decade. But the next season showed how fragile and wafer thin their actual confidence was. This so-called invincible unit lost 7 games all season, finished 12 points behind Chelsea, but this final game is St Andrews. It kind of showed how far they'd fallen. There were no goals until the last 10 minutes before Walter Pandiani fires Birmingham ahead. Dennis Bergkamp equalises with 2 minutes left, and yet still Emil Heskey finds time to fire in the last gasp winner. This invincible team were conceding winning goals to KSI memes, getting done over by a midfield with Darren Carter and Jermaine Pennant wearing a dog tag on his ankle. Christ above, what a joke. Aston Villa 1-0 win versus Liverpool 2011. Okay, to be fair, there haven't been too many mental last day games for Aston Villa. It's all been pretty reasonable normal results. I suppose the closest you could find, last game of the 10-11 season, and Villa denied Liverpool a slice of Europe with a 1-0 win at Villa Park, where Stuart Downing passed his Anfield audition with the winning goal. The world was approaching a period where Downing was soon not able to sneeze in the direction of a goal for nearly 2 bastard years. I'm convinced he wasn't entirely sure how to operate his feet. So him being able to find the actual winner, and Brad Friedel, a man in his 40s making his 400th Premier League appearance in goal, are you telling me not one multi-millionaire footballer of that Liverpool lineup were able to find a way past him? That fella makes Todd Dad look like he's in year 7. Bournemouth 5-3 loss versus Crystal Palace 2018. Yeah, now we're talking. The typical last game of the season where both teams are safe from relegation, a massive weight off both clubs' shoulders, and so they're able to go out and freely play an entertaining 8-game thriller in the May sunshine. This was mental though. A game where both goalkeepers played like they'd spent the previous night drinking pints out of a pig's nostril. Michi Batshuayi grabbed a couple, even Jordan Ibe got on the score sheet. That's when you know the defenders had taken the afternoon off. Brighton 1-1 draw versus Aston Villa 2017. This was weird for a couple of reasons. See these photos of Brighton players aspiring on the Villa turf? This was after finishing a championship season second in the league. Automatic promotion, and yet here they were acting as if they'd just seen their pet hamster chucked in a furnace. The reason is because the last minute Jack Grealish equaliser meant Newcastle, not Brighton, would be lifting the championship title minutes later. Which is strange considering Villa were the team who sent us Newcastle to relegation twice. Burnley a 4-2 win versus Tottenham 2010. Okay, make no mistake about it. Burnley during the latter half of the 09-10 season, they had all the fight, hunger and drive of an expired banana. They'd gone from 13th at Christmas to utter relegation, winning just once at Turf Moor since bastard Halloween. For Christ's sake, 1 month earlier they found themselves 5-0 down at half time to a Man City team with Craig Bellamy stuffed on the wing. Brian Laws couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag. The players had all the wafer thin confidence of a guy who got left at the altar. So finding themselves 2-0 down at home to Spurs on the final day of the season, how on earth did they manage to score 4 unanswered goals against a team with future Ballon d'Or winners and world transfer record signings? Mental. Chelsea 8-0 win versus Wigan 2010. I remember back in May 2010 when Man United supporters worldwide turned into Wigan fans for the day. If the Latics could claw a result anything at Stamford Bridge, the title would be going to Old Trafford. It was a faint hope, but let's not forget Wigan had already beaten them 3-1 earlier that season, so you never know. Chelsea only needed a 1-0 win, so absolutely torching Wigan to death. I'm sorry, but 8-0 is not a result you see too often in title races. But then again, this was the same Wigan team which also conceded 8 in one half at White Hart Lane, so never mind. Crystal Palace 5-0 win versus Burnley 2008. To be fair, Crystal Palace haven't really had too many strange last day results. Maybe when they signed off with a 5-0 win over Burnley at Sellers Park in May 2008. Burnley finished 13th that year and only conceded 62 goals, had kept 9 clean sheets. Not really sure where this one came from. Everton 5-1 loss versus Man City 2004. David Moyes was sacked at Old Trafford in the spring of 2014, but he could have lost his job in Manchester an entire decade before. A 5-1 defeat at the City of Manchester Stadium. If this was Everton's attempts at keeping Wayne Rooney at a supposedly ambitious club, it was not working. Sure, nowadays City could stick 5 past Everton with one eye closed, but after 37 games, they were 1 point behind the Toffees in 17th. They'd won only 4 games at home all season, so exploding into life with 5-1 match, it was pretty embarrassing for Moyes. Leicester 5-4 loss versus Tottenham 2018. Again, like the Palace Bournemouth game, this was just fun to watch, with again, nothing really at stake for either club. Tottenham and Leicester shared 9 goals at Wembley. It was pretty mental. Leicester took the lead 3 times. Harry Kane, Jimmy Vardy and Eric Lamela all back braces. It featured Riyad Mahrez' final goal in a Leicester shirt, a rare Kelechi Iheanacho strike, just one of those crazy last day games. Liverpool 6-1 loss versus Stoke 2015. Arguably the darkest chapter in Liverpool's recent history. I remember hearing that Liverpool had conceded 5-1 5-1 half away at Stoke. It wasn't even funny, it was just sad. The previous year, this club had come within a whisker of the title, and here Steven Gerrard was, a heroic Champions League winning captain, in his final game for the club. This was his send-off, sitting in the change room toilets at half-time, trading Stoke by 5 goddamn goals. Sure, they only conceded 1 in the second half, and I'm convinced Stevie G was allowed to walk through to score consolation out of sheer pity, but really, after overseeing their heaviest defeat since 1954, Brendan Rodgers was lucky not to be sacked on the spot. Man City 8-1 loss versus Middlesbrough 2008. Yeah, this was Man City before the money. May 2008, Man City travelled to the Riverside, with City fans campaigning for Sven-Göran Eriksson to keep his job as manager. But after watching their team concede 8 goddamn goals, including a hat-trick to Alfonso Alves, that decade's answer to Jolinton, they were probably willing to chase Sven out of town themselves. Let's not forget, this Middlesbrough team was only 1 year off relegation. They scored more goals at the Riverside in this game than they'd managed in their previous 10 home matches. Sure, Richard Dunne was set off early, but did that really give license for the City players to collapse like a deck of cards? Absolutely useless. Man United 5-5 draw versus West Brom 2013. This was the classic example of a last day at school. One of the main reasons we saw so few Man United collapses under Fergie was because half the players were terrified of having their bowels ripped out their body in the changing room. So on Fergie's last day in charge, it was like knowing your strict headmaster was quitting his job within 2 hours. Do you think this team would have dared ship 5 goals away at West Brom if they thought Fergie was going to stay on? 5-2 up and coasting with just 20 minutes left. Somehow Romelu Lukaku scores a hat-trick, with both teams leaving the pitch having scored 5 goals apiece. Yeah, Fergie was smiling afterwards, but make no mistake about it, were that a game that actually mattered, he'd have the defence chucked in a fire. Newcastle 5-1 loss versus Tottenham 2016. Most surely some fond memories of this game. They really shouldn't. This was a clear example of selfish footballers sticking their face in the shop window. Newcastle were already mathematically relegated, so yeah, signing off for the season with a 5-1 win over Tottenham, a result that denied them second, it might have been seen as some sort of apology to the fans. What I saw was a bunch of top-class footballers finally getting their finger out after 37 games of dross. This result would just make you more angry. It shows that the Newcastle squad was capable. The likes of Moussa Sissoko, Gini Wijnaldum, who tore Spurs to pieces. Why didn't they just do this earlier in the season when it actually mattered? If they had, maybe Newcastle fans mightn't have been forced to book midweek trips to Burton Albion while they were tying up £30 million transfers away. Norwich 6-0 loss versus Fulham 2005. You might think Norwich's relegation this season was painful, and it was, but 2005 was just cruel. They'd shown spirit to grind out results, 4 home wins in a row to take the relegation dogfight to the final day of the season. And then, I'm sorry, but where did a 6-0 defeat at Fulham come from? This Norwich team had just beaten Man United a month before, and they were travelling to a Fulham team already on the beach, so shipping 6 unanswered goals? Was this their idea of fight? Sheffield United 2-1 loss versus Wigan 2007. Yeah, this is a moment which Sheffield United fans will hate to revisit. How Neil Warnock conspired to bottle survival during the 06-07 season is beyond me. They were 10 points clear of the drop. Not only that, but in a relegation 6-pointer, winner takes all home clash with Wigan, the guy who scored the winner to send the Blades down was David Unsworth from the penalty spot. A guy who would already miss a spot kick for Sheffield United against Blackburn back in September. God, he must have felt bad. Southampton 3-2 win versus Arsenal 2001. Yeah, let's go all the way back to May 2001. To be fair, this was a nice way to bring the curtain down on the final ever game at the Dell. After 103 years of this stadium, they signed off with an entertaining 3-2 home win over Arsenal. The power of the Dell. This club had just gone 7 games without a win, and now in the last week of May, they were beating both Man United and Arsenal. Bit strange. Tottenham 7-1 win versus Hull 2017. This was just embarrassing. How Marco Silva became one of the most sought after coaches in England after this is beyond me. In Hull City's last game in the Premier League, they signed off with a 7-1 defeat, absolutely collapsing. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick to win the Golden Boot, but 7 goals conceded at home? Really? What was Marco Silva feeding his players? Jars of paint? How this guy was given both Watford and Everton jobs is beyond me. Watford 5-0 loss versus Man City 2017. Okay, to be fair, it's never surprising to see Man City absolutely pulverise Watford, but you just don't see many teams sign off for the season with a 5-0 home defeat. I don't care that it was Man City. Ending the 16-17 season on such a sour note, conceding 5 unanswered goals, their 6th defeat in a row, half the Watford fans probably spent the summer in a mild depression. West Ham 1-0 win versus Man United 2007. This was just bizarre. Sure, Man United had just won the title and were already on the beach, but West Ham pulling off the great escape with a 1-0 win at Old Trafford courtesy of Carlos Tevez. This was a season where this club lost away at Chesterfield, went 11 games without a win. What a bizarre great escape. Wolves 3-0 loss versus Sunderland 2018. Yeah, this result didn't really make sense either. Wolves had just wrapped up the 17-18 Championship title, while Sunderland hadn't won at the Stadium of Light since January, and were already relegated to League One. So where did a 3-0 home win come from? Goals from Ovi Ejaria, Ashley Fletcher and Paddy McNair. Again, just a result that didn't really make any sense. This was the Sunderland season that we laughed at by the world on Netflix. They'd just been relegated home by Burton Albion. Most of the players were lucky to have kept their jobs after 2 years of complete and utter ineptitude. Wolves, by contrast, they'd won 30 league games. A win at the Stadium of Light would have seen them break the 100-point barrier. But no, for some weird reason, the likes of Ruben Neves, Diego Jota and Matt Doherty came off the pitch having lost by 3 goals to a bunch of Sunderland players who'd had a season from hell. Anyway, that's the end of it, guys. Let me know in the comments section below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.